What is going on, guys? Jay Craft here, Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you again with a quick follow-up on the video that I put out probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago regarding adult items on eBay and how the category was going to get removed. If you didn't see that video, I strongly recommend you watch that one first. It's going to give you all the details as to why or how this came about and what sellers need to do to be able to prepare for that to happen. As of right now, you can no longer list adult items on the platform, but if you have active items, I believe they're going to stay up till about the middle of this month. The exact date is listed in that last video, but I did want to give you some additional follow-up. As I said, I would reach out to Jordan. I would try and get some clarity as far as exactly what's going on. In this video, we are going to be covering a handful of other issues, but I'll give you a preface before it gets personal, so that way if you don't like me, you'll know exactly when you need to leave. But first up, we got the email that I fired out to Jordan Sweetnam. And now I can't remember if I plugged this one in the last one, but either way, I'm going to read it to you right now. I said, "Afternoon, Jordan. I hope this message finds you in good health and spirits. I wanted to reach out to you after receiving a dozen comments and concerns over the recent email that went out regarding the changes to the adult category. I contacted Concierge and got a mixed batch of answers from a listing category member of some sort. Her name was Kima. She was lovely, but did not have all the answers that I was seeking. If you have time or could kick this across to someone who does, I have a few questions I could use some guidance on." And those of you who don't know who Jordan Sweetnam is, he is the Senior Vice President for the Americas market. We had a great discussion with him probably about 6 months back after eBay was in some hot water, still kind of is, with former CEO Devin Wenig with the company. Definitely worth looking into if you haven't heard about that yet. But he's been nice enough to be able to act as a contact point for me when working with stuff that I need a little more clarity on. When it comes to this change, is this something happening at the Adyen level, MasterCard, Visa, or a site decision? I ask as we wish to know if we should prepare for this to become an industry norm across all e-commerce, as well as better understand the motives with our business partner, quote unquote, eBay. Why was the ability to list in adult removed during the beginning of managed payments migration, then added again, then decided to be removed again? Will there be clear-cut lines in regards to what is not okay? And I ask this due to the subjective nature of what is and is not okay in regards to art. Will the reviewer be working with some sort of a guidance sheet? And if so, can we as speculative art buyers gain access to this to avoid buying things we cannot sell on the platform? Lastly, in regards to books, will things such as romance novels and clearly sexual language be allowed on the site? Even mainstream titles such as 50 Shades of Grey. What about language found in books such as Huckleberry Finn and the usage of the hard N? And the reason we ask this is because in the email that they fired out, they had guidance regarding language both in books and movies and in music. And we want really clear guidance because you don't want to go buy something with the impression that you're going to be able to sell it and then learn right before you go to list it that you're not allowed to work with the item, and then you're out the money and you're out the time. It's not a good feeling. I said, I'm not opposed to lines being drawn, but I do feel transparency of where these lines are, as well as motivation behind these decisions, can really help quell the concerns of everyday sellers, as well as buyers who no longer will be able to find these items that they are accustomed to finding on the site. Thanks again for your time. Wishing you nothing but the best. Look forward to our next talk. And he was nice enough to respond to that. Let me see if I can scroll up here. It says, "Hi, Jay. I appreciate the note and you're willing to share what you've heard from the community. Here's some additional context, and I do hope it's helpful. We're always looking at how we can provide more clarity on policy changes. As you can imagine, there are so many decisions that come up on a day-by-day basis, so the more we can offer broad guidance, the better equipped sellers can be to plan and focus their business. These policy changes are often in the works for months before they are announced publicly, and then we try to allow a long ramp period before they go live. When it comes to the adult category specifically, we did try to create as much clear-cut guidance as possible and offer the official policy in specific in nature." And then he's provided a link, which I'll put in the description down below. "We have made this decision that items showing sexual content or sexually suggestive poses will no longer be allowed on eBay.com, and the everything open bracket adult only parent tree will no longer be available for this category. So the easiest direction that I can give you is to go look at the adult category now. Inventory currently listed in that category, and that category only, is what will no longer be available coming June 15th. but the adult items outside of the adult only, those will continue to be allowed on the site. For instance, 50 Shades of Grey. These changes are always complicated and take some time to roll out smoothly. Grateful for your patience and your business on eBay. Now, I reached out to him again because clearly all of the questions weren't answered in that email. And, I know he checks out these videos from time to time, and I do appreciate him giving me the best answer that he can. And I understand anytime you put out a forward-facing message, you have to be really careful about what you say, and only so much can go out there. I took it a step further. I emailed him again, asking, hey, can you give me even more clarity as far as why this is happening? Because we need to know. Will I not be allowed to sell this stuff on, let's say, Facebook Marketplace soon? Because we saw that happen with vape products. Now, I don't know Facebook specific guidance on that, but let's say even other third-party sites, smaller sites like Prairie Grit, they do allow certain things to be sold. But if it's happening at a merchant level, if it's happening with, Stripe, or if it's happening with Visa or MasterCard or whomever is holding the keys to that, it could be a category that could die off completely. Like vaping, it's very, very difficult. And even some products like THC-based lotions and creams are heavily restricted on the merchant level. He obviously wasn't able or comfortable or willing to give me that guidance at that time, which I understand. So I reached out to Audion themselves and I said, hey, can you give me guidance on your end? Because I can clearly see you have a statement with your working relationship with eBay. And we had a small volley of emails back and forth, and they were unwilling to give me that clear guidance as to whether or not they were the actual decision makers in this happening. The reality is we are going to be able to see in time if this is a decision that is just something that is to eBay only, or if it's something that's going to be spreading a bit further. So those of you who do have listings active, the best thing you can do with your listings, one, obviously don't delist them until you're forced to delist them, but run a sale on them. And that's what I've been doing. I've gone 10%, 20, 30, 40, and now I'm currently at 50% off on all my adult goods. And I will probably go all the way up to 90% because I do not want to get jammed with them. If you're seeing this video now and you still have adult items active that haven't hit their 30-day to renewal and you still have a little bit of time left on them, then you're going to be able to work with them. Now, I also want to bring up some other stuff. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to cover in this video. It's not really super concise. I kind of want you to think of this as like a reseller roundup, but just kind of on a small scale. I haven't been online very much lately, so I just haven't had the interest in putting together a full reseller roundup, but hopefully you take away some positivity from this. I want to talk about another issue. Those of you who are not in the know, you should recognize what these are, though. These are a roll of Forever stamps. And what's really, really crazy about these is that these have come off of Mercari. And these are also available on eBay. But the nutso part about this is these are actually counterfeit. These are not real. I'm trying to get this to focus for you. These are not real stamps. And I'll even put some listings up on screen. Now, I reached out to eBay's trust and safety team via Jordan again, and I sent him a plethora of screenshots showing these Forever stamp rolls available for $7.31. I do have to give credit to Daniel. He was the one who located this issue to me first before I kicked it across. I said, hey, we got a really big site-wide issue going on. There's hundreds of listings for counterfeit rolls of stamps. The prices are far too low, and if you shove these under a microscope, you can tell the inking isn't correct on them, and they're clearly fake. And there's also sheets of stamps that are on the site right now that aren't real either. Within 24 hours, I would probably say somewhere in the area of about 80% of the listings have been taken off the site, but unfortunately they're just getting thrown up there really, really fast. The reason I'm bringing this up is so that way you can be aware when you're buying stuff like this. If the price is too good to be true, it really is. A roll of Forever stamps, I believe, is $55 from USPS right now, and I even believe you have to pay your own shipping on them if you want them sent to your house, opposed to picking them up. These ones at $7.31 a roll, clearly something's wrong with them. I got mine off Mercari. I paid $30 plus tax, about $33 here in California. So I didn't think much of it until I saw all the other activity happening on the other e-commerce sites. So if you do have some of these stamps, obviously, discretion is yours, but maybe consider taking them down to the post office and having them take a look at them, or doing some comparison online. So, next thing I want to talk with you guys about is I have a debate coming up. I know what you're thinking, Jay. You don't do debate. You have no right to be debating anyone. It's an interesting one. Oftentimes I find myself pitted against people online, and I found that commenting back and forth really accomplishes nothing. No one changes their viewpoint. Valuable information doesn't really set in. It just gets lost in the comments and never gets seen again. I'm not saying that somebody needs to change their mind, with every debate, or that every argument must lead to some head where, lives are benefited and lives are changed or anything like that. But I feel like, I don't know, people really need to be pitted against themselves, have a battle of the minds, and share diametric views with each other to really learn another person's perspective and take something away. So I will be doing my first live debate on my channel next Sunday. I believe we're going to be doing it either 3 or 4 Pacific Standard Time on this channel. I will be debating against Shane Myers of Rise and Grind Pickers, the YouTube channel. He's been on my channel before. I've been on his. I'd like to think that me and him are on pretty good terms. We're friendly with each other. But one good online argument in the comments, and you can never tell. So when I get into these things with people, sometimes I say, hey, debate me on air. Let's go on my channel. Let's do it. So I went ahead and sent over the debate format to him. It is going to be a formal style debate, 8-minute turns. We're going to have the opposing view going second. I'm going to be the opposition, and we're going to be going back and forth with our information. And I do hope that we put on a great show for you. The topic is going to be an interesting one. Shane is taking the position that history should not be erased in schools' education system, specifically the history of American Indians, or I guess we'll just say Indians in that sense. And I'm taking the position of Indian education should not be taught in schools. And I know what you're thinking. You probably already have a view, and you're like, one way or the other. But just do me a favor. It's 2021. Turn over a new leaf. Come listen to somebody you don't agree with. I think that if more of us were willing to do that, and frankly, it doesn't even matter what side I'm on. I could take either side. I could probably argue it to the T, but you should still come and listen to somebody you don't agree with. And I think if maybe more liberals were willing to listen to conservatives, and more conservatives were willing to listen to liberals, I think we could go a lot further. I think it goes without saying that both of us would assume the other is a conservative. One of us might be a little bit more, what's the word for it? Libertarian than the other, but I think it'll be interesting. So if you have nothing to do and you want to tune in, you want to have a good time, come join us. And we'll even have comments on. Maybe we'll take a look at the comments after. The event's going to take about an hour, and I'd love to see you there for it. I also have been working in the stock market a lot. This is kind of why I haven't been online, and this is kind of why I haven't been showcasing a lot of reselling as of late. I had been making oodles of money in the stock market. I was up roughly, $30,000 or $35,000 over the course of 3 months. Unfortunately, I'm sure you guys have heard about hedge funds in the news recently, things going on with AMC or GME. The hedge funds have decided to heavily short the stock that I'm invested into, somewhere to the tune of about 30 million shares, which really drove down the price, really caused a lot of panic selling, and I ended up dropping all of my gains over the last 3 months. And I'm not just like saying, I dabbled in the stock market a little bit. I took it very seriously, and I still do plan to continue doing it. I've taken a 40-hour long options class so I could better understand options trades, buying and selling, shorts and calls and puts and all that good stuff. I can do my iron condors and my covered calls and all that good stuff now, and I understand it. I get it, it's been a fantastic growing experience for me. And if you're playing in stocks and you want a little bit more, I can be happy to share with you what I know. But it's just been an interesting period. So making a lot of money and then watching it go away. And now I'm in a position where I've pretty much got to hold my shares until about February of next year, my options until February of next year, to see if it's actually going to come to something. So over this next 6 months, I've really got to decide what I want to do. And I'm having a hard time deciding. I guess on some level you could call it a midlife crisis. Part of me wants to go do a traditional job again and go work with a large company, maybe a project manager, do something really interesting, maybe in a new state or even in a new country. I don't know. Part of me has some really cool business ideas for either inventions or services, and I'd love to try and be able to flush those out. And then part of me says maybe I should just stick to doing YouTube. I got about 20 or 30 different video ideas that I'd love to do, and maybe I should drive my time and energy into that. But I don't know. So I'm kind of in this holding pattern, and the stocks were looking really good. I was getting very excited about that as far as my potential future, doing day trading and just getting smarter and making reasonable money doing that. But now I'm at that impasse. I don't know exactly what to do. But last thing I wanted to talk about, I got a lot of grief about my Pokemon video that I put out. Man, that's probably one of my most, I guess you could call it controversial, in the sense that there is just as many people who like it as those who dislike it. So when you get up to a certain point, I mean, you really got 50% of the people who think that it's a great video and it's spot on, and you got 50% of the people who think I'm a blithering idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. And the video was on the topic of how the Pokemon market was pretty much collapsing before our eyes. And I got people commenting, and I challenged them to debates. They have not come to the forefront yet, but I said, come debate me. Come debate me on the ethics of being a reseller. Come debate me on the ethics of buying goods from stores and retail and then moving them out to the secondary market. I'll take that debate 7 days a week. Okay. But I essentially timed the market perfectly. And I'm not just here trying to, stroke myself or anything. I timed it perfectly. And I worked frantically for 4 months straight to liquidate my goods, knowing that we were at that tipping point, knowing that the market was going to fall. And it has fallen. It's fallen dramatically. Some goods have fallen upwards of 60% from the time that I posted that video. And those who are holding the bag are the ones who invested heavily into this last release, the Battle Styles release. The prices on them are down to about $80 a box, and when I sold, I was selling at about $150 a box. So there's a lot of diminishing value. You see it with the Vivid Voltage set, you see it with Shiny V sets, you're seeing it with singles. Holy cow. Singles are getting hammered, graded cards are getting hammered. Those of you who have cards waiting at PSA or PGC and you're just waiting for them to cycle through, getting hammered. And I just want to say the collectibles market as a whole, we're in a really odd place. A lot of values are going down on stuff, and I even reached out to my mentor and I said, hey, what should we be doing with our money right now? Like, where should we be parking it? And he says, we're in a transitional phase right now. And I could not have thought of it better myself. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, why am I confused? Usually you have a pretty damn clear idea of what I should be putting my money into next. And the only thing that sounds speculatively interesting is going to the damn casino. I'll be completely honest with you, because nothing seems like it's going to have a great return on it right now. Stocks have been getting hammered or just barcoding. I've seen the collectors markets across the boards all taking a hit, anywhere between 20 to 30%. Even like high-end goods, clothing and handbags and stuff like that, all of that's getting hammered, and partly due to the fact that inflation is really taking hold. The value of the dollar is going down. There's much more money out there in circulation. It's a really, really odd time. So his advice, which is the advice I'm taking to heart and I'm going to recommend for you guys, is just wait. Just wait. Wait to see where the market really settles out at. It's all right to come back late. I look at Bitcoin Cash, for instance. It's hovering anywhere between $450 and $525 any day of the week. It's all right if it's on its way to 1,000 and you get back in at 700. Okay, you don't have to get in at 400. Okay, your odds of timing the bottom slim to nil, and your odds of timing the top are slim to nil. And the same's true of the collectors markets. If you're dabbling in the collectors market and you say, I'm going to get this when it's as cheap as possible, you're not going to be able to predict it. And if you could, you're going to be a millionaire. Because if that is your plan and that's your conviction, and you're willing to invest 100% into your conviction, because if you say to me, oh, I know exactly when it's going to be at its cheapest, Okay? Show me your conviction. Invest everything you have at that price point. Because if you're only going to invest 10%, then you don't really believe in that play. That's not really true. And if you are going to make calls like that, make sure you do your due diligence too. Give me a reason. Okay? If you can't back up your investment with sound reasoning, you're gambling, simply put. And when I was investing into Pokemon, I had sound reason to invest my money into Pokemon, and I had sound reason to sell my position. There was no emotion locked up into that. And I think that was something that was really interesting for some people, because I talked with so many people after that video. And thank you to those of you who messaged me. Thank you to those of you who called me and just wanted to talk into my ear about the whole Pokemon thing. And I told people, I've never opened a booster box. And they're like, what? And I've sold 100,000 plus just this year, but probably 200,000 in my life. Like, I've never opened a booster box. And they're like, how? Like, how have you had so much and never opened one? I'm like, don't get high on your own supply. And like, well, don't you like the stuff? I'm like, I love it. I think it's great. I think Pokemon cards are awesome. I think the franchise is wonderful. I watched the TV show, the cartoon for years. I watched the movie in theaters when it came out. I remember getting my little promo card and everything. I think it's great. I would go to a Pokemon theme park today and I would spend $100, $200 just to go see something like that today. But that doesn't mean that I need to be cracking open my own supply and diminishing the value of my collectibles that are deemed for the secondary market. And I know Sean with Reserved Investments, if you haven't seen his channel, it's fantastic. He says that you should be interested in the category that you work in, and I'm the exact opposite. I don't think you should like it at all. I mean, it's great if you do, but I don't think you should like it at all. Not even one bit. It helps to be around it. It can motivate you, sure, but you shouldn't have a desire to open up that inventory. I think that I think it needs to be just that. I think it needs to be inventory. I think you should enjoy the process, but I think that rather than going after something you like, I think you should go after something you're really good at. I think that's also partly the reason why I'm having some trouble with reselling. I love the art of reselling, but I'm worried that I'm continuing to do this because I am good at it. And, I can only buy and list and pack up the same type of stuff over and over and over and say the same, adages and use the same techniques to buy and sell and, go to the same types of yard sales and work the same types of deals and see the same types of electronics and collectibles. Yeah, sure, every now and then you see something really cool, but the problem is I'm really good at this, and because of that, I'm bored. And I don't know if I'm continuing to do it because it pays me, $50,000 to $100,000 a year net. That's great money. It's great money. But how do you differentiate between doing what you really enjoy or what keeps the lights on and ensures security? I was reading some comments on Reddit talking about how this persistent hustle for millennials is unhealthy and it's not normal, and how there shouldn't be as much financial anxiety as there is for people my age. And I'm referring to people 35 and younger, okay, 35 to 25, the millennial age group right now, maybe even a little bigger than that. But it shouldn't always feel this way. You shouldn't have to constantly worry. I busted my butt to be able to try and afford a house, sold tons of stuff, and the houses that I wanted a year and a half ago that were $250,000, and I was going to move into a nice house, a 3-2, maybe even a 4-2. Now those are $350,000, and I'll tell you, it's a kick in the junk to be right back to square one again. And for those of you who didn't do anything over this last year, and I know there's a bunch of you out there, and I warned every one of you, I said, get your damn nets ready. Okay, there's going to be a lot of money available, a lot of free money to make. I said, get your nets out there. Who's ready to work? Let's make some money. I know a lot of people who have less money now than before this pandemic started. And that's, I hate to say it, unless you have a disability, that's your own fault. There was so much free money out there to make, and there still is. There's no reason why anyone can't make $1,000 a week doing thrifting. But, I outlined an entire course. I know that sounds ridiculous. I talked about doing this reseller course. I spent better part of a week outlining the entire course. I didn't even want to film it. And it's not because I don't want to, I don't want to get it out there. I want to help people. I really do. But, man, the idea of spending another 40 hours putting something together, and then I guess the concern that nobody will pay for it. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jay, if you really want to help people, you won't charge them. But the reality is, I've said this before, I need to get paid for my time. And if people don't pay for something, they're not going to value it. People who get cars, they treat them like shit unless they actually pay for it themselves, and then they baby it. They care for it. They love it. You see it with all kinds of things. You see it with, clothes and gifts and you name it. Okay? People don't take care of things unless they put personal value in it. And I don't know. Yeah, midlife crisis. I guess we'll call it that. That's what's going on right now. That's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. I've been taking a lot of vacation. I guess that would be the best thing of all of this is that I've gone on probably 2 vacations a month for the last 6 months. Probably anywhere between 2 to 3 days per trip. And not long vacations, but, out to the coast, out to the mountains, out to the casino. And that's been really nice. I would say that my mental health is probably in the best place it's been in my entire life. I'm a much happier person now than I was when I was doing the shows every Sunday. And it's not a byproduct of the show. It's just being on that hard structured schedule, having that financial insecurity, which I don't have because I liquidated that Pokemon stuff. So I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better financially. Not great, but a little bit better. Yeah, it's been a nice little run. So that's what it is right there. I'm feeling happy and I'm feeling good. I just don't know what I'm going to do. I'd love your suggestions. Feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Guys, I hope you learned something. And I hope you know what's going on. And if you've got a video you want me to talk on, I probably got it written down somewhere, but if there's something you'd love to hear me talk about, let me know. Or maybe you'll have a debate and you want to hear a debate, or you want to challenge me on something after next Sunday's debate. I think it's going to be really good. I really hope he shows up. He told me he's going to be there, and I'll tell you, if he doesn't show up, I'm still going to give my end. I'm going to give my 30 minutes worth of presentation. I don't care. And I really hope he comes to the table and takes it seriously. I think it'll be good. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this laid back, hot take, single shot, no BS video. And I'd like to do something interesting next time I get in front of this camera, after the debate, that is. So if you got something you want to see. The girlfriend wants to vlog. I don't know. Tell me, would you like to see me go thrift and go to a museum or something? I don't know. If you want to go, if you think I'm interesting enough, just tell me and I'll do something like that. We'll do it. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.